Carl Webster and his brother Kevin recently uncovered shocking truths about one another in Coronation Street. Kevin found out that Carl had been using his garage as a front to help steal vehicles, working alongside a woman named Fiona. He attempted to prevent Fiona from fleeing with a car, but suddenly fell ill, prompting Glenda to rush him to the hospital. Kevin has been undergoing intense cancer treatment, and naturally, the concern was that his collapse had something to do with his illness. However, when Carl arrived at the hospital and spoke with a physician, he was stunned to discover that Kevin had actually received a clean bill of health during his last checkup. He was no longer battling cancer. It turns out Kevin has been misleading his loved ones into believing he's still sick, and now Carl holds that secret over him, leverage to keep Kevin from reporting the car thefts to authorities. Kevin's deception is rooted in fear. He suspects his wife Aadi may be developing feelings for Carl. His scheme is based on the hope that Aadi won't leave him if she believes he's still undergoing treatment, giving him a chance to rekindle their love. In future scenes, Aadi becomes furious with Carl, blaming him for stirring up conflict with Kevin. Carl, however, restrains himself from exposing Kevin's falsehood. But when Aadi discusses with Tyrone how to explain to Kevin's son Jack that his father's treatment is failing, Tyrone can't keep quiet any longer. He tells her that Kevin already admitted to him that he's actually in remission. Aadi is livid and refuses to accept Kevin's justification that he faked his condition to save their relationship. Instead, the lie pushes her further away, and she turns to Carl, passionately kissing him in a moment of emotional vulnerability. Pushed to his limits, Kevin decides the only solution to salvage both his marriage and his business is to remove Carl from the picture. He fires his brother, saying he no longer has faith in him. Conflicted over his feelings for Aadi, Carl ultimately agrees that a fresh beginning might be best. Later, Kevin informs Aadi that Carl has resigned and moved on, and though she is heartbroken, she hides her emotions. Meanwhile, Carl goes to say farewell to Debbie. The question is, can she convince him to stay? Coronation Street's Colson Smith calls out former co-star over meal betrayal. He wasn't exactly thrilled with what he saw as a sneaky move. Coronation Street star Colson Smith playfully called out his former co-actor Ben Price, labeling one of his recent actions as a poor display of friendship. The duo, who played Craig Tinker and Nick Tilsley on the ITV series, have co-hosted the On the Sofa podcast alongside Jack P. Shepard since 2019, where the trio chat about a wide range of topics. During the latest episode, which dropped on Friday, the 25th of July, Smith opened up by criticizing Price's behavior, calling it shady after a recent dinner. Now I feel like I'm being ganged up on, and I'm going to bring up something Soul Club. It's not cool, right, Jack? He joked, referring to their frequent visits to Wagamama, where they collect loyalty points. We've got it down to a science. We earn enough points to grab a free starter or main course now and then, he said, noting that they'd recently used rewards that probably saved Price about 18 pounds. He added it wasn't a big deal since Price had another reward ready to go. But things didn't unfold as expected. Price revealed he ended up using those points during a meal with his daughter. Smith humorously slammed the move as classic shithousery, joking that Price had spent our money. Shepard chimed in, laughing and saying it had been a team effort. I think you're right to bring that up, Colson. It was a bit dodgy, Price admitted, as Smith went on to say he felt both he and Shepard had been let down by what he jokingly labeled a betrayal. Smith's 14-year run on Coronation Street came to an emotional conclusion in May, when his character Craig succumbed to injuries after being attacked by Mick Michaelis. In a follow-up interview, Smith reflected that the storyline felt like the appropriate end. In a strange but fitting way, Craig's death was the right send-off, he said. Him dying in the line of duty, getting that hero's exit as a police officer, that was the ideal way for him to go. I've taken away everything I could from my time on Coronation Street. Coronation Street legend Helen Worth, seen for first time since Soap Exit, as son gets married. Helen Worth was all smiles as she attended Jack P. Shepard's wedding, just a year after stepping away from her iconic role as Gail Platt on Coronation Street following an incredible 50-year run. The veteran actress looked stunning as she made her first public appearance since her emotional departure from the soap. Having played Jack's on-screen mother for over 2 decades, it was no surprise that she turned up to celebrate his big day. Helen, who originally joined the ITV series in 1974, decided to retire from acting last year. She attended the wedding alongside her husband, Trevor Dawson, wearing a stylish blue patterned dress. She paired the outfit with elegant black heels and a matching clutch bag and wore her signature shoulder-length bob hairstyle. Jack first became part of the Platt family in 2000, taking on the role of David at the age of 12, and has now portrayed the character for 25 years. Last June, Coronation Street producers shared a statement announcing Helen's departure. Reflecting on her decision, Helen said, "After celebrating 50 years, this felt like the right moment to step away from the best job on the most amazing street." She continued, "I spoke to the producers earlier in the year, and they were incredibly supportive and understanding." Helen also expressed her gratitude, saying, "I've been so lucky to receive brilliant scripts every single week and to work with an amazing team of actors, directors, and crew. 5 decades have passed so quickly, and it still hasn't quite hit me that I've said goodbye." At the wedding, Jack looked sharp in a cream-colored suit, paired with a black bow tie and dark sunglasses. He was joined by several Corrie colleagues, including Alan Halsall and Colson Smith. Earlier this year, Coronation Street went through a significant cast shakeup. Though Jack remained with the show, he admitted to the Mirror that job security is never guaranteed. "You can't get too comfortable, because that's when they let you go," he said. "You always have to be ready for that moment when you're told your time is up, and if it happens, that's okay." He added, "Being part of this show for 25 years is a huge achievement. Very few have lasted that long, but you can't assume it'll last forever." Jack also shared how Helen inspired him. "Helen Worth never took anything for granted. She never assumed they'd renew her contract. I used to tell her, 'Of course they will.' But she was never sure, and I've ended up the same way. When contract time rolls around, I get anxious like everyone else, but that's a good thing. It keeps you grounded and ready in case the worst happens. Then you can accept it and move on." Coronation Street continues to air on ITV1 at 8 p.m. every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and is also available to stream on ITVX.